there are some updates at D23 in Brazil, direct from Kevin Feige about Marvel. And some of those updates include Miles Morales will be introduced in the MCU. There are a couple other things from the story. Alan, could you bring that up if you wouldn't mind?
Yes.
There's a link in the document there. Right, but I'm having problems on my end here.
This is actually from IGN.
Oh, sorry about that. Could you zoom in and Badger, if you would
Sure.
give it a read? But it's basically update on Blade, Scarlet Witch's future, and when Miles. It's a when, not an if. When Miles Morales will be introduced in the MCU. There you go.
I don't care if he's too old. Get that kid that plays Vic Aguilar on Penguin. I'll watch him as Miles Morales if I have to have a Miles Morales.
He's probably too old, but I got to say that actor's amazing. We'll talk about him later.
Right.
But
Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige has issued a number of somewhat vague but tantalizing updates on various MIA MCU projects and characters at D23 Brazil, the same event that showcased new Thunderbolt and Captain America: Brave New World trailers. Let's start with Marvel's Troubled Blade film, which Disney recently delayed from its announced November 2025 release date into some to-be-announced release date. The delay to Blade came as little surprise, given the behind-the-scenes drama it has suffered. In June, news surfaced that the director, Jan Demange, had left the project, which we'll see Mahershala Ali portray the titular vampire slayer, should it eventually get off the ground and into production. Demange's departure was the second time someone had vacated the director's chair, as Basim Tariq previously relinquished the role because of a scheduling conflict, or scheduling, I've heard it both ways, that came to light before the movie was due to begin shooting. A report at the time claimed that Ali was frustrated with the movie's progress, with production grinding to a halt shortly after.
Scroll down, Alan.
Alan? So,
if you scroll up a little bit is where Feige said it, but I think
doesn't
he basically say it at one point? So at one point, Blade will be coming out. They just can't do it yet. So according to Feige, Mahershala Ali's Blade is still coming out eventually.
Well, it's a minor update, but what do we think of this in light of Captain America: Brave New World will be out in February? We all kind of think that. Is there anything more, Alan?
Yeah, you want to talk about Miles Morales?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm
sorry. Okay, it's all good.
Well, Miles Morales is Miles Morales. Feige was more definitive, insisting that shortly after the third Spider-Verse movie, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, comes out, Miles will make his debut in the live-action MCU. Miles will appear in the third Spider-Verse, which is currently in production. I hope that shortly after that, he can enter the MCU in live action. And then it goes on to talk about Into the Spider-Verse, or Beyond the Spider-Verse, rather, not even coming out until 2027. The plan is always to get rid of Peter Parker and have Miles be the main Spider-Man, so they don't have to
pay Steve
deal.
And then here's an X-Men comment right here. And finally.
At the top.
Finally, Feige has hinted that it may also be sometime before the X-Men make their long-awaited full-blown entry into the MCU. The future following Secret Wars. When we were preparing for Avengers Endgame years ago, it was a question of getting to the grand finale of our narrative, and then we had to start all over again after that. This time on the road to Secret Wars, we already know very well what the story is going to be until then, and afterwards, the X-Men... You okay, Dante? And afterwards, the X-Men are an important part of that. He's very upset that the X-Men aren't going to show up. And guess what? No Wolverine, because Hugh Jackman will be playing Wolverine till he's 90.
Yeah, I predict Secret Wars is going to be everything Marvel up to that point. After that reboot, X-Men will be post Secret Wars. It's just
correct.
It's
That's
logical.
What they're gonna do.
Yeah.
That's logical. Any other comments from people on this?
No one's excited about Miles Morales.
Yeah, and the question is, will Sony capitulate with a contract? Will Sony capitulate with a contract for Miles Morales to be in the MCU, because they have the film rights to that character, and if the Spider-Verse movies are doing well, they might not want to share that.
Do they? I thought that was the stipulation that they don't have that. They only have Peter Parker Spider-Man.
No, they have the Sony agreement is Spider-Man license they have, and that's all the Spider-Man debut characters. So any character that debuted in the Spider-Man series up to and including Miles Morales is technically still under Sony.
Yeah, here's the thing I know about studios. They like money.
They do.
And they will make a deal if it means they'll make money.
I like
Miles
maybe
when he's except for Lucasfilm, but... I don't know.
Yeah,
they don't like
but so far, like they've made the latest Spider-Verse movie made Sony a lot of money without Disney's help. That's the question. Is now they get to keep all that money. So do they want to risk having to split that money with Miles Morales in the same agreement that they do with Peter Parker?
So would they be willing to risk not making any money versus money by doing a deal with Disney?
Well, the thing is, but they are making money with Miles. That's the problem, right?
But not as a live action. That's the thing.
That's true. But they don't have to go there yet. It's all up in the air. Sony has got is the one obstacle from Disney having all of the MCU under one banner.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, if you're going to give Miles Morales to Marvel Studios, and you're going to sit back and make money off of that without risking anything, that seems to be the choices you have, rather than risking yourself making the movie and it failing and then you incurring all the losses.
Well, and also, I don't know how well Sony is doing as a company, so they're going to make a deal.
Well, their video
might
game
make a deal. The one thing that Sony's doing well is that they don't blow as much money on their films as compared to other studios. Like Tom Rothman is legendarily cheap. Like that's just it. And he also makes sure that when movies are heading into their distribution, they're already paid for, and everything else that comes from that is pure profit.
And he was part of that article that mentioned the stagnation and how the executives are essentially my age that feel stagnated because all these people don't retire and they don't greenlight anything that would buck the trend or anything. I just say for Spider-Man, the game, now granted, a lot of this probably has to do with the involvement of Sweet Baby Inc., but that first Spider-Man game from Insomniac sold 22 million units. And then we had a Miles Morales spinoff where he was the star. It was very likable, but of course, even as a spinoff, didn't make as much. And then that second Spider-Man, where you could play as both, sold half as much as the first one, only 11 million units. So it turns out people just want to play as Peter Parker Spider-Man. So even though Miles makes money for them in these cartoons, I would suggest that if those were Peter Parker cartoons of the same quality, it would be making even more money.
I mean, how can we trust anything they say when they can't even get a Blade movie done? So now they're trying to get Miles Morales is the new announcement thing. And again, I just feel the same. I don't have superhero fatigue. I have announcement fatigue. Just yes. Make the movie and just shut up and make the movie.
Well, the impression you got from Blade was that Marvel wants to make a Blade movie, and yet it feels like they have no plan to make a Blade movie.
Because there's no place for him right now. They waited too long, and now they have to wrap up this dumb multiverse Doom shit, and you have to wait until the timeline reset.
Well, and they have to keep saying it, right? They have to keep saying Blade is coming because, they can't cancel a movie based on a black superhero right now. So,
but we all Captain America.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to lose on that one. So